Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you are brand new, I am very excited that you decided to join me here today for another speed build in Evergreen Harbor. And I am so exceptionally excited about this one because I was not sure if I would be able to bring this idea to fruition, but I'm so pleased with how this ended up coming out. So this is a storage container motel. And now we all know in The Sims, we don't have like a hotel or a motel lot type, right? We're just gonna put that out there. We know we don't have that community lot type, but I decided to kind of make it, I think it was a park lot is what I decided on. So there are like chess tables and benches and, you know, stuff like that that you need to actually meet the park lot requirements. However, it is a full-blown motel, so what you can actually do is you can have your Sims stay overnight here. And I was thinking that the way that you could do this, because there are 4 rooms. Yeah, I think there's 4 rooms. There's 2 in each kind of storage container area, I suppose. And what you could probably do is just lock the door to keep other Sims out and kind of just like claim the bed for your own temporarily. I mean, I don't know if you can literally assign the bed because it's not on a lot that your Sims own. But you know what I kind of mean. I think you can make it work. So if you decided to come here and kind of spend an extended period of time, you would actually have a place for your Sims to sleep. And there is also like a little cafeteria and a gym and a laundromat. So like you can do everything here. And I'm just so stoked to show this one off because it came out of nowhere. I was browsing Pinterest and I was looking for inspiration for a container home. I've only built, I think maybe one. Wow, is that true? Yeah, I've only built one container home. I did the collab with Rachel Ped, i.e. Beautiful Plum Bobs, where she built the container home and I just furnished it. So I think the only one I have actually built is the one where I used like a ton of the debug storage container objects that we have in like the live edit objects menu, and that was it. So I haven't even made another container home, and I think it's because it's just usually a rectangle. Like I don't know what to do with that for the most part, and typically my brain just goes to stacking them, but that's what everyone's been doing, and that was my first one anyway, so I didn't want to like, I don't know, duplicate my work. I don't know, it doesn't make any sense, but I was looking at Pinterest and I found this like storage container motel, and it was only, I think, 1 or 2 containers, so it had like the 2 supporting one above it, so maybe 3 actually. Numbers. Yeah, there were 2 that were supporting like a larger container up top, and it was actually like all glass windows, which was absolutely beautiful. And the rooms were separated. I think there were maybe 2 or 3 rooms. It wasn't that big, and it didn't have a floor plan. It had nothing. So I honestly just took the idea and went with it. And I love what I came up with because, as you can see, there are, well, a total of 6, right? Yeah, 6 storage containers. So there's the 2 that support the one up top, and the rooms are up top, and basically all the other amenities are in the containers below. And I think it's so cool. I spent so much time on the landscaping as well because in this save file, whichever one this is, because I don't even remember anymore, I actually thought I did a decent job of replicating the landscaping around this particular lot. As you can see off to like, well, it swaps between the right and the left-hand side, but there is basically like a plot that is not on any particular lot. It's just in the world, and there's a ton of landscaping there. So I tried to replicate that the best that I could. And now I'm separating off the rooms upstairs. So basically there's a room on each end. They have their own bathroom. Of course, if you're staying in like a hotel room or something, you probably want your own bathroom, though I think that there are probably motels in like the US at least that have communal bathrooms in some way, shape, or form. I'm not really sure. I don't stay in motels a lot. And honestly, with the current pandemic, I'm not traveling. So I haven't even stayed in a hotel or anything like that in a long time. And I typically like stay in Airbnbs now. They're more so fun experiences for me than a hotel. So anyway, I haven't been in a motel for a very long time, if ever. So I was kind of really just going off of what I've seen on TV, what I've experienced years and years ago, and a bunch of reference pictures and just kind of like different ideas to pull this one together a little bit. So each room does have its own color scheme, and this room actually, I end up tearing it apart completely. I wasn't happy with the color combinations I was coming up with, and honestly the rug, it just kind of got me. It wasn't as fun and soft. It looked a little like sharp and broken. It looked like shattered glass. Does that make sense? So I end up actually stripping carpet completely and putting in wood floors. I don't even keep this wood floor. I tried so hard to use it. I have been trying to use that wood floor for so long, and the only time that I've used it now was in the weathered beach house build that I did, and I used it in the bathroom, so that's not even fun. I haven't put it in like a living space or a bedroom or anything like that yet, so I end up taking it out. But this room has blue and yellow. Those are like the main accents, and I use this bed from City Living in every single room, so I just use a different swatch of that bed in each room, which I thought was really nice. The lamps are the same, again, just different swatches. The dressers are the same, different swatches. And the artwork sometimes is the same, though I tried to, of course, find artwork that really did match the color scheme I was going for. But the curtains are reasonably the same as well, aside from them trying to match the color scheme. How many times can I repeat myself in this voiceover? That is already, what, 3 times? Keep a tally. I'll probably do it again. But I really, really love these rooms. They're so cozy and they're so colorful. They all have a coat rack, they have an armchair near the door, and there's just like a plant. And then I use it's like a little sign, I think it is, from Get to Work, and it's actually pretty big. It's supposed to be like a street sign, I think. Not actually like on a pole, but it's like one of those chalkboard street signs, like outside of a business or something like that. That one right there. And I size it down twice, so I use the Control or Shift bracket key, actually, and I do it twice because it kind of looks like a welcome to the storage container motel. Here are the rules, or here's how you access the Wi-Fi. Here are the extra towels, like that kind of stuff. So I thought that that was kind of cute, and there are certain swatches that match the color schemes that I went for, so I was really excited about that. They all also have at least a hanging plant and some items in that window, since it kind of creates a little bit of a, what am I trying to say, like a shelf, you know what I mean? So it kind of works. When I use the OMSP shelf, I can place some items on top of that, which I thought was really nice. This room over here is purple and red, which is kind of an odd color combination to me, but we had the perfect artwork for it in that painting collection that I kind of placed there. And I tried to use the same welcome mat as well in different swatches to make it match. There's also accents of white. Well, white's not really an accent. I suppose like pink and like red are kind of the accents in this. I don't know. And there's also some purple. So it's kind of like a 3-color combination room. And I love this room. I thought the colors came together really, really nice. Specifically, I think this room is probably my favorite one, even though I'm not a huge red fan. If I was trying to pick out a color in that room that I wasn't a huge fan of, it would probably be the red. But yeah, I really liked that room. I thought it came together really nicely. And then I end up working on the bathrooms, which I try to go through reasonably quickly because they're basically the same. I tried to maybe make like the bath mats match the color scheme of the bedrooms and maybe some of the accessories, but they're pretty much identical because, I mean, it's a motel. They're not going to be that different, right? There's also some bathrobes that I was thinking were offered by the motel that you could use, which, I love fluffy bathrobes. I'm not gonna lie to you right now. Most of my day is spent in a bathrobe, like also bundled in pajamas, because this is what quarantine does to us, everyone. I work from home, but they didn't say I can't work from home in pajamas. And this area right here is basically just like a little, I don't know, communal spot. There's not really much going on. There's like an end table, some paintings, but there's also some community boards. So maybe if someone was visiting Evergreen Harbor, they could look at some of the things that were going on in the neighborhood. And then there's just a couple of couches. Nothing really that exciting. I think I maybe add a tissue box and a couple of spare towels or something like that, thinking that if they ran out or wanted some fresh towels, that these would be replaced every day. Maybe. I don't really know. And that pretty much wraps up that little space. I had a couple of lights and just some different curtains there. I use these from Island Living, which I love. And then I just place a ton of tables out here on this little deck. And as you can see, they have the grass flooring everywhere. So this is a very, very green lot. That's why there's like tons of landscaping and trees and stuff too, because I thought it was just perfect. And I actually only put down 2 tables now that I remember, because I had to put down the chess tables to make sure that I was meeting the park requirements. And now I work down here on one of the very first floor level storage containers, I guess we'll say. I add a couple of plants from Eco Lifestyle right outside the door, and I did play test this so your Sims can get into every single container. Even though this is like one big giant sliding door, your Sims only need to go in one side of it, like the the side that's actually accessible, even though it's like a 4-tile door. So it did work perfectly fine. And I forgot, I did get to use that wood paneling floor from Eco Lifestyle down here. Goes to show the memory of a goldfish. I've said it before and I'll say it again. You guys probably know at this point, I have a terrible memory. But I was able to use it down here, and this is basically where you would check in at like the front desk. So I thought that this was just a really quick place that could be pulled together. I found these fire extinguishers and I ended up putting them in a couple of places around the motel, and then I ended up continuing with that kind of front desk space. And it's nothing fancy. There's a lot of like yellows and oranges, maybe a little bit of teal. Those colors seem to go together really nicely with a lot of the stuff from Eco Lifestyle. And what's the other pack? Tiny Living stuff. That's what I was thinking of. There's like a lot of those bright colors that really accent one another really nicely with the objects that they made. So that was really nice. There's also just a couch and like a little seating area, you know, nothing crazy. And I think there's a mural above here, which I'm picturing that as actually Evergreen Harbor. I think that came with Get Famous, so it's technically supposed to be Del Sol Valley, but I was picturing it as Evergreen Harbor being like this green metropolis in some way, shape, or form. At least that's the goal. And like I said, in this save file, it is green, like the green initiative has gone through, so everything's kind of changing around the neighborhoods and becoming greener and a little bit more modern and vibrant, and it's really, really beautiful. And I thought this fit in so nicely. So if you actually have a save file where Evergreen Harbor is going through those changes, this will probably fit perfectly. And this storage container over here is going to be kind of like the little cafe. And I say cafe because at a lot of motels or hotels, depending on the hotel, I would actually say, because a lot of them might have restaurants in them, but a lot of like motels and hotels will have a little kind of cafeteria area where they will have continental breakfast. So that was my thought. There is this fridge here, which I think you can only buy like microwave meals with, and that was kind of my thought. I didn't want to put a stove in here because that means your Sims would be sharing a stove in a common area, and that doesn't seem too wise. Sims are very fire prone. I don't want that. That's not fun. So there's just like this little tiny cafeteria area where you can heat up like oatmeal and like sandwiches, stuff like that, and purchase them. And then there's 4 tables, which surprisingly my Sims can navigate around every single one of these tables and sit in every chair, which I was kind of surprised because it's very congested, but the routing was not an issue for me. If it's an issue for you, please just let me know. You might have to remove a table or two, but I would just want to be mindful of that as well, because I don't want to give you guys things that like don't work. But for me it worked, and that's pretty much, I'm going to say rest assured that it'll likely work. But if it doesn't, please just give me a shout and I will be mindful of it in the future. And now we're moving on to the other rooms. So the floor plan is identical to the one across the street. Well, across the way, basically across the little courtyard that I ended up creating. And again, using the same bed in just different swatches. So this has kind of like gray and blue and cream undertones a little bit. I really tried to bring out the pops of blue just because it made the most sense, I think. But there's also like a lot of whites, and the furniture sometimes is variations of like gray and black, which I thought was really pretty. It seems very calming to me. And even though I already made a room that had a lot of blue in it, this still seemed different enough, I would say, to kind of work, I think, as its own color schemed room, if that makes any sense. And again, they're pretty much identical. I tried to remember to use all of the exact same items, just in different swatches, and I tried to find artwork that really complemented the color scheme. And again, that painting there, or that collection of paintings, was perfect for this room. I have not used that painting before, like literally ever. This was my first time using it, and I used it twice in one build, and I was really thrilled with that because I'm still discovering items and how they can work to this day. Typically, I am quote unquote complaining about things. I try not to. It's honestly just constructive criticism because I think that this game could be even more amazing than it already is. And I think it should have been more amazing than it already is when it was released. That's just my opinion. But I love The Sims and I love a lot of these items, so it's still fun to be able to go through all the packs that I have and find items that I haven't used before and discover new ways to use them. So I'll definitely give them that. Like, there's versatility in a lot of these items, which makes me really happy. But anyway, I'm gonna get off my soapbox, and now I'm just working on the very first bathroom. Again, it is identical to the other bathrooms, and I actually ended up going into the little like community space, I suppose, prior to going into the other room, just to get it out of the way. When things start getting really repetitive for me, I typically try to rush through them, but I really wanted to make sure that this build was exactly the way I envisioned it, and there weren't spots where it seemed as though I was like rushing through it or something like that. I never want to do that for a build that I make for you guys, so I wanted to make sure I got that out of the way just so I didn't feel the need to like keep pushing through things, because the rooms really excited me. And this last room is actually yellow, pink, and purple. This color scheme is not my vibe, but the room, I think, is beautiful. I absolutely loved it. This is the only time I think that I actually had to use different curtains too, because the Eco Lifestyle ones don't have like a purple swatch like this, so I had to switch over to the Seasons ones, but they're almost identical in a lot of ways, so it didn't really faze me. And the purple was like real strong in this room, purple and pink, but in different shades. It was kind of hard to find items that were in the exact shades of the colors on that bedspread, but I think it worked out okay. I think it did. This is probably the room that is, I don't know, not as put together as the other ones. The other ones came together really nicely and quickly, but this one seemed a little bit off to me. Once I got some of the artwork up though and changed the color of those lamps to the yellow, it seemed a little bit more put together, but I am definitely looking forward to hearing your guys' thoughts on like all of these color schemes and really the build altogether, because this was an absolute blast and I loved playing with it. So I had like a sim and I think maybe 2 sims. I can't even recall. I think I maybe had 2 sims come here and spend a couple of days, and it worked perfectly fine. Really enjoyed their time there, or so I'd like to think. And yeah, everything worked beautifully, and like other sims obviously would still show up because it's technically a park, and it was really nice. I don't think I saw any like NPC sims or any other sims at all like that I have in the save come here and actually stay the night or anything. I don't think that they're really programmed to do that, right? But yeah, it was really, really fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed this lot as much as I did. And now the purple bathroom, it's a little much. It's a little bright. With the yellow, I was thinking like a yellow rug. It's a little bright. I ended up changing it to white and just using the yellow accent rug because it looked a lot better. And then I end up adding a couple of more lights here, and then I have to work on the last 2 storage containers, which, like I mentioned, one is a gym and one is a laundry room, because if you're going to spend some time there, you have to have some things to actually do. And you'll probably have laundry, right? That's how it works if you're staying at a motel. So why not be able to do your laundry there? And the workout room is actually pretty small because I realize a lot of the equipment is really, really big. So there's only 2 treadmills and like 1 weightlifting machine. And then there's just like the mirrors on the wall there so you can kind of watch your form, right? And then I add these little mats that we have that I think are perfect for gyms. And that's pretty much it. I don't even think there's a TV in here. There's just a stereo and maybe a chair or 2 to kind of like take a breather. But that's about it. I didn't go too crazy with the details because I really didn't think that there would be a lot of details in there. And the laundry room is probably my favorite room on this lot, like in this build. And I don't know why. I think it's because it is probably where I added more details than I anticipated. And I just love the idea of like laundromats. And I have only made one ever. I made one, it was for a junkyard build. And I was thinking that it was like an old junkyard, but it was also like a really small laundromat. And it's actually part of my save file in Oasis Springs. So I really enjoyed that, but it was really teeny tiny. So it was fun to make one like this that was a lot bigger. And you know, you have like your washers on one side. There's a few that are stacked washer and dryers on each end. And then the other side is actually dryers. And then I used these shelves and I actually made like, I don't know, like a flat surface on top of all of these. So you could put some like laundry detergent and your laundry baskets and clothes and all that fun stuff right on top of them without it being like slotted. I don't know, it just looked a little bit better than things grabbing on to the actual spaces on top of the washing machine and the dryer, if that makes sense. But yeah, I just add some clutter here that I felt was appropriate for the actual laundry space. And there's like piles of dirty clothes and stuff. I mean, it's a motel, it can be a little messy, right? Like it doesn't have to be perfect. And I also add just a couple of decorations on the walls. Nothing too crazy at all, just a couple of accents, and then I end up just replicating the plants on each side and the pathways, adding those little outdoor lights, which really brought a lot of life to the build at night. And underneath here, I end up putting a swing set, which worked perfectly fine too. A lot of the swing sets were too tall to go underneath these storage containers, or underneath the storage container that's above it. But this one worked perfectly. And then I add some outdoor benches from Get Together because they were just the right level of colorful for me. And I also add these decorative like vertical gardens. So these aren't the ones that you can actually grow crops in, but these are really, really cute. And I thought it was a really nice way to kind of fill that backspace. And I ended up doing it on the other side as well, which I thought looked really cute. It was a little bit of a struggle underneath these because like the lighting was weird. It kind of looked, I don't know, it looked a little fake to me. So I added some of these wall decorations with the flowers from Eco Lifestyle as well. And I ended up adding a couple of these benches with like, I think the daisies technically or the sunflowers on them just to meet that bench requirement. And then under here is the little thing that we got, the little booth that you could buy things with or buy things at. I don't even know, with like the grub meals and some tables, and that's pretty much it for the build. So I hope you guys did enjoy this one. I cannot wait to hear your thoughts on this and see your Sims play in it maybe. Send me screenshots, I'd love to see that. But I will catch you guys next time I post a video, and I will talk to you guys very, very soon. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye!
Searching for something that ain't lost. Have we got it? Our lines crossed. We're wasting time on stuff that doesn't really matter, while wishing for something better. I try to fix things that weren't broken, misunderstandings and words unspoken. We fall apart, and I won't dare to say, do you feel the same way? Maybe you don't wanna know, but you don't see what you have in front of you. Or maybe I'm not enough for you, so maybe I should go. If I had known from the start, this wouldn't have ended with broken hearts. 'Cause I don't wanna waste my time. Same way, then don't pretend that everything's okay. Don't string me along the way you do. Just let me get over you. Maybe you don't wanna know, but you don't see what you have in front of you. Or maybe I'm not enough for you, so maybe I should go. If I had known from the start, this wouldn't have ended with broken hearts. 'Cause I don't wanna waste my time, no. I don't wanna waste my time.